Welcome to another episode of the Writer's Game podcast, where we help you magnify your voice and monetize your message. I'm your host, CEO, and founder of the Writer's Game, Kyle King, 7-time published author. And look, have you heard that we have the new Writer's Game, The Business Behind Your Story? It's on pre-launch and it's available now for pre-launch for the next 4 to 6 weeks, depending on when you watch this video. But look, go get your copy if you want to be able to write, launch, market, and publish your overall book and take it to the next level and scale your company. The Writer's Game book, The Business Behind Your Story, is your book for you. But it's not about me today. It's about Tanya Kelker. Oh man, she is literally a rock star, business strategist. She is an absolute, just an amazing human being, mom, wife, all of the different things that you need. Her energy is literally unmatched, but she knows her craft. So she's here with us today. Tanya, how you doing?
Hey Kyle, how you doing? How you doing?
I am amazing, literally amazing. It's so great to see you as well. So before we get started, can you just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and how you're shaping lives?
Yes. Hi everybody. I am Tanya S. Kelker, and I'm also known as your business bae. And bae is your business advisor for entrepreneurs. I help entrepreneurs increase their profits and grow their business and within by scalable and relatable systems and information to help grow your business.
I love it. I love it. How are you empowering people? Like, how are a lot of the things that you do for businesses really helping not just their businesses, but also shaping their lives?
So, I decided to just hone in on people that are transitioning from pro to CEO
Mhm.
because that's a area that's really not tapped into, right? And so it's easy to grow in business to go to the CEO, but that's those soft skills that you need in between time. That is my sweet spot. Okay, I help people in those areas to help people see that they can have real businesses, they can have their real life, and be a real person.
Mhm.
And with that, because with that, that's the most important part, first of all,
Mhm.
right? And with you trying to grow within and your business, that's where I help people make the biggest impact with that.
Why is that important though? Why is it important to focus on the human before the actual title of professional? Why do you think that's important?
Yeah, because so like everybody, when people ask you what you do, they always automatically think about your profession.
Hmm.
Okay. And you're not your profession. That's light bulb, you're not your profession. And you're actually a human. And when you can realize and kind of separate the two, I
Hmm.
think that it makes life so much better.
Of
So
course.
that's why it's most important.
What are some of the things, like, before we look at what you're doing now? How did you get involved in what you do? How has your story shaped, how you coach and mentor different people today? Kind of look back before we move forward.
Okay. Well, first, I've been a full-time entrepreneur for since over a decade, since like 2010, right?
Hmm.
And when I got into entrepreneurship, I really just didn't have any guidance. I really didn't know. I was kind of just winging it,
Hmm.
and I was just building upon the things that I was good at skill wise. And through a lot of trial and error, I went from starting with accounting and just bookkeeping first and growing those skill sets to help other entrepreneurs and other business owners. And
Hmm.
then finding myself in the meantime. And
Mm.
that's a struggle that is not really talked about. It's a struggle going from being you have to wear many hats. I'm a wife. I wasn't a wife at that time. I was a mother. I was trying to find my voice and my lane in the business world. Mind you, I got into entrepreneurship on accident. Like I wasn't trying to be an entrepreneur. When nobody hired me after I
Exactly.
got laid off. Okay, I
Yeah.
wanted to go and work for someone because I was used to working in the corporate settings. I worked at a big four accounting firm. I worked in government agencies. I worked those major corporate jobs, but when I got laid off, I was forced into entrepreneurship, right?
Mm. Okay.
And so that's when I say I wasn't really prepared for that. And
Yeah.
so I kind of got pushed into it and had to find my way. And through finding my way, I found that I prefer to work with people that are in the beauty industry or the
Mhm.
service based industries because I saw that it was a bigger need because it was the lack of other professionals wanting to help those two niches, right?
Exactly.
And I saw that it was a lack because I was in those two niches. And so I turned my focus in my accounting and strategy firm towards me only working with the beauty industry people, and everyone else on my team taking on the other industries, right?
Nice.
And that's when I was still finding myself at that point too. I was still trying to find my voice, find my purpose. And going into the beauty industry, I ended up opening my own day spa. Wow. And that even came out of, I be saying everything happened by accident, but it was all by design, design and alignment,
Why did you even get into beauty in the first place? Like, did you have a background there? Did you, just have interest? Kind of walk me through that process.
Okay. So funny story. I had no interest in getting in the beauty industry, right? I ended up getting a license by accident again. Well, again, we just said we're gonna stop that. I ended up getting a license just by pure interest.
Okay.
I was living in New York at the time, and I got the best wax of my life. And I just asked the esthetician, I was like, hey, what is the name of your job? Like, what is your job title? Because I didn't want to keep calling her the wax lady because she did such an amazing job. I just thought that it was tacky to call her the wax lady. That was how it wasn't deep at all. Okay. And I did a little research, and I found a aesthetic school. And I really was just going to fill a time void while I was in New York because I was there by myself. Well, I was there working, but I didn't have any friends or family there. Mm-hmm. And so I did that, and I really left it to the side because I just did it as a time filler. Mm-hmm. So fast forward to a couple years later, my boyfriend, now husband, he asked me to go to Bronner Brothers hair show. That was my very first hair show. Okay. And I was like, I like this. And I had on my, it was the beauty accountant at the time shirt. Mm-hmm. And everyone kept stopping me at the hair show. And it was just like, what does that mean? What is a beauty accountant? I was just like, I help beauty professionals with their businesses, definitely with their accounting. Yeah. And just that response from that event alone grew like my email list, my mini community. Yes. And it really was an eye opener for me to see, there's a need in this beauty industry. And I thought it stopped there.
So really just by showing up, then your career just kind of took off in a sense. And you've built such a successful company, and you haven't put out your receipts yet. I'm waiting for it. I know that. But you built such a successful company by literally just showing up, getting thrown in, and figuring out on the process. Yeah. Talk to me about the importance of showing up and what that's been able to create in your life.
Well, so I'm a self-proclaimed introvert, right? But I'm an extrovert introvert, And so with that self-proclaimed trait, I tend to like to sit back and see and observe first before I insert, because I know what I can bring to the table. Yep. And so a lot of people like me, we will sit back, but the danger in that is when you sit back, you deprive someone the opportunity to get the help that you have and you possess. And so the importance of showing up is not really even for you. It's for your gift to actually be used the way it was designed to be used.
Okay. When you understand that though, what was your first step in building this business? Like, how did you, like, outside of like, start the LLC, get the name, get the website, like what was your first strategic move that you made that really helped position your business for the next decade?
Okay. So when I decided that I was going to hone in on the beauty industry, funny story, my husband's ex-wife asked me to help her open a makeup business, right? Because she's in the beauty industry as well. And my husband is too. My husband's a barber, and his ex-wife is a licensed cosmetologist.
Okay.
And so she asked me to help her because she wanted to open her own business. Previously, she had only been working at other salons. She had never owned her own business. So she asked me to help her. Okay. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'll help you. No worries. And through the conversation, I asked her, and I just took her through the same process I take most of my clients. And I asked her a real question. I said, if you're going to only offer makeup in Jackson, Mississippi, and you want to open 6 days a week, what are you going to do Monday at 3:00? And she was like, what do you mean? I said, what are you going to do Monday at 3:00? Because most people in our area are not getting makeup done Monday earlier in the week. Mostly they're getting their makeup done later in the week.
That's good.
So what are you going to do those slow days? And so I didn't want to, because like when I talk to people and when I'm helping my clients, I don't like to give my opinion right up front.
Mm-hmm.
I give them a question for them to think about so that they can come up with their own conclusion and with the help of my expertise, but not pushing my agenda or expertise on them. Because at the end of the day, it's their business. So long story short, I asked her, why don't she just add wax to her services? And she was like, oh girl, I don't want to do that. That's not something I want to do. And I was like, well, how about this? No one even knows that I'm licensed or anything. I will come in and help you on the wax side until you find somebody. Matter of fact, I help you find somebody because I don't really want to do this. I'm an accountant. I'm an accountant. I do advisory work and strategy work. I don't, I'm good at waxing, but I was like, it's not my thing. Okay. So I thought. So that was April of 2017. And so the next day or so, she called me. She said, hey, why don't we go into business together and you handle all the wax side and I just handle the makeup side? And I was just like, girl, I don't want to do that. And she was like, no, it'll be good. It'll be good. I said, okay, I'll give you 90 days. And so for me, on the other side of that, I kind of had a second agenda, a strategic agenda. So I thought, and that was really for me to show the naysayers that I was more than just an average accountant, because a lot of times people say, oh, you're an accountant, you don't really understand. Because truth be told, most accountants, most professionals that are not in your industry, they really don't understand what you're going through, what you deal with.
That makes sense. 100%.
Yeah, they don't understand what you're going through or what you deal with because they're just going off theory. And theory is good, it's necessary, but if you don't have the lived experience in your industry, there's certain things that you cannot help that client with.
Exactly.
And I didn't want to just do their taxes or do their bookkeeping, oversee their numbers, because I needed them to understand their number, because I'm an invested partner at this point, and I need your business to succeed.
Exactly.
And so we took that, we opened the business. We found a location that next month.
Okay.
And I told her I'd give her 90 days. And 30 days, we end up opening July 1 of 2017. And I'm still here.
I love that. Anybody that's listening to this right now, and like what I wrote down is like consistency after showing up is like the catalyst to success. Consistency. Yeah. All you have to do is show up, be consistent, be strategic in your moves. And obviously it was in alignment to your passions and different things as well. But now a decade plus later, you're still doing business.
Yes.
I know your background and how very intentional and strategic you are in business, and you're an expert in that space and you have the results to show for it. What is your singular best piece of advice for entrepreneurs and business owners that are trying to break into an industry or even in an industry, but they feel like they're stagnant in their approach?
My first piece of advice is to actually find your purpose in the business. Not the buzzword, oh, I got to find my purpose, but find why you're there.
Good.
And once you know why you're there, then the other pieces will fall in line. But knowing why you're there, why you're doing this, why you're in business, and it's okay if you're there just there for the money, but be real with yourself. Why are you there? And then build on that, on how can you contribute to make that place better.
Exactly. Okay. Once they identify why they're there, what is your singular best piece of advice or a strategy for them to then focus on generating revenue within that type of business?
Okay. So find out why you're there. Who are you going to help while you're there?
Good.
And then I do not agree with just doing what the market says to do. I'm a rebel that way.
Okay.
I like to go in and find alliances and strategic places where I could be of assistance and not and add the least resistance. Not because I'm afraid of conflict or anything like that. It's more so if everybody, for example, if everybody, when I opened the spa, if everybody in my area is doing hair and doing makeup, well, cool, y'all keep that. Let me see what else your clients want that I can offer. Because now I'm not your competitor. Now you're a market for me for free. Now I don't have to pay for all those excess things because now I'm a partner with you because I'm not competing with you. I'm really competing to have your client as well. Now, if we collaborate, now we can make the client experience even better, not competing for the same client in the same way. And that is strategically how you corner the market and dominate.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Why do you think a lot of, because these are things that we know, these are things that we understand as business owners, and probably because we have the lived experience. We've been through it.
Yeah.
Why do you think businesses so often fail in this industry, in the industries that you've worked in?
Across the board. They get in it for the wrong reasons or they don't know why they got into it. And also, because if you get in it and you don't really know why you're here, it's hard for you to continue on doing something that you don't know why you're doing something. And if you can find that connection on why you're doing it, then it is important for you to actually line that business up correctly so that you can start to remove yourself out of the business. Because I'm an advocate for you being a self-employed entrepreneur. However, that is not legacy, and that is not that's not good for the long term, right? Because anything can happen. For me, I had a whole back injury in the prime of me working in my spa. I was the top income producing service provider in my spa. And out the blue, I had a back injury. It wasn't like, oh, I knew I was sick or, oh, I knew something was happening. I literally was in the treatment room and I was like, oh, my back hurts. I went to the car. I picked up a single bottle of water and I think it was a candy bar that was in a bag. And I literally could not stand up straight. I literally had to sit in my car, lean over my car seat until the pain subsided. And I went back in and I had to finish. I only had like 2 or 3 clients left. So I was like, I'm not going to cancel on them. I can work through the pain till I get home, right? I get in the treatment room. I'm doing a Brazilian, first of all, because I'm a Brazilian waxer. So I'm doing a Brazilian. And in mid wax, my back goes out again. And I'm right here with the clients. Hoo-ha. I'm like, please don't move. Please do not move, lady. And the pain subsided. I was able to stand back up. And I ended up having to end the rest of the day. That was one of the last days of me waxing. That was in 2021.
Wow.
And I tell that story because we never know what can happen to us. But had my business not been built correctly and have a solid foundation and have systems in place to replace me and to run without me, I don't know how my family will survive a pandemic. I don't know how my business, how the people I'm responsible, because I'm responsible for my team. Because my team works for me. They don't work anywhere else. This is their full-time job. And I'm responsible to make sure that this operation keeps going.
Exactly.
So that is why it's important to take it beyond just a hobby and just about you and build those systems.
That's good, Tanya. That's good. And I think a lot of people are building these businesses as a part of this hustle culture. And
Yes.
they're just building and building and making all this money. And then if they get hurt or if they get sick or they're just burnt out and what I always teach people and tell people is build a business that aligns with the lifestyle that you want to be able to live. Like with
Yes.
you, if you want to be a mom or a dad or a husband or a wife, or you want to be there for your kids' games and all these different things, like it's important to be able to build a business that allows you to do that. So like right now, I'm going to be this next week, I'm going to be in Mexico.
Yeah.
I want to extend it I want to extend it another day. I want to go from Monday to Saturday instead of Monday to Friday. But I know that my son's game is on Saturday at 1 p.m. So yeah, I could go for the whole week or all these different things, but I'm going to ensure that I'm back in time for that, so that, I'll probably still stay until Saturday and then just come in early morning. But the reality of it is that I have to know how to build a business where it doesn't require me to show up every single day, and I can go be away for a week and we're
Yes.
still operating, we're still handling things, and we're still being able to deliver for clients. And I think a lot of people don't think of that. They just want to make all this money. Well, what is the real cost costing you in a sense?
Right.
So we do have big news.
Yes.
You have a book that
Yes.
just launched. I know you have a lot of things, so you haven't really promoted the book like it needs to be, and you're in your doctorate program, and you're still momming, and you're still wifing, and all these different things.
Yes.
That's my question before we get to the book. How do you balance all of these things? Because that's one of the questions that I know somebody has. How does she do all of these different things?
Well, so again, I am a prioritizer, right?
Mm,
So I don't really like to say a true balance, like everything's equal, because
mhm.
I don't think that exists. But balance to me is allowing the priority to have the priority at that moment.
Okay.
And so for me, when I actually became a real CEO, because a lot of times people think they're CEO just because they own a business. That's not true. Because if you're still doing all the things, you're not the CEO.
Mm,
You are still working in the business, which is nothing wrong with that, but
exactly.
you're not the CEO. And that's the falsehood. But once I became the CEO, that's when I was able to turn that priority a little lower in the priorities.
Exactly.
And as you're building, you have to be able to know where those priorities are. My first priority is always a wife and a mom.
Mm,
And that may look like I may have to forego some sleep or so, or some things that I, as Tanya, want to do
mhm.
so that that can happen. But my biggest thing is fueling Tanya so that Tanya can be strong enough to do everything that needs to happen.
That's good.
So I'm the type of wife and mom where we make sure the kids Monday through Thursday cook meals. If not cooked meals, it's prepared meals, because we went
Mhm.
and got something and it was prepared.
Yeah,
Nine
for sure.
times out of 10 is cooked, but life be lifing sometimes.
Not literally.
But we try to make sure that that's prepared for them when they get out of school, and for the evening and for dinner, right?
Mhm,
Fridays we know Friday is eat out night. Like,
mhm.
no questions about that. That's
Sure.
we may not know what we're gonna have on Friday, but we know
We're going
is no
somewhere.
one's cooking. That's what we do know. What we know for
Yeah.
sure is no one is cooking. And I try to prioritize date night with my husband. We're like kind of like when we first met. My husband has taken me on a date every week since I've met him.
Wow.
And so if we don't go on a date, we kind of just make time as if we went out, because sometimes he'd be tired from work. Because typically it's Friday, and he'd be
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, you trying to go somewhere?" I was like, "I was." He'd be like, "You want to watch a movie?" I was like, "You know what? You got food, you got a
That's
little wine,
that's fair.
done. I take it." But we try to be intentional with spending time with each other, because I didn't get married to be a single mom. And I
Woo!
didn't get married to be single. I didn't. I married my partner. I married my spouse, my soulmate. And with that relationship, I in my head I have to make it all a business. Everything is a business, because I
Yeah,
understand it
yeah,
that way.
of
So
course.
my marriage business, that our meeting is our date night. Our
Yeah,
meeting is Mondays, we're both off. So we have lunch together. We spend more of the day together on Mondays.
okay.
And so we find intentional time so that it's not go with everything else. So he has that time, and on Monday he is the priority. Business
Exactly.
is not. On when after 3 o'clock, when my youngest get out of school, well, guess what? He's the priority.
Mm,
It's a fluid system that's in place, and it seems like a lot, but when it's a priority to you and it's important to you, you make the time.
exactly. I
Because
love
I
that.
also travel a lot, so I was like, people are like, how do you do all this? The same way.
Exactly. I love that. I love that, Tanya. And you said something about the importance of being intentional with your time. Like, I didn't get married to be single. I didn't, do these things to be, kind of by myself doing it the same way.
Right.
So that's important to be able to build that partnership.
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested in hearing about your book. I know
Yeah.
that there's so many people that are going to be watching this. They've loved everything that you've communicated. But why was it important for you to write your story? And what are you going to do now that you have this book and with your doctorate, all these different things? What are you going to do next with it?
Okay. So the book is called The Lies of Becoming. And this book was very important. Not only for me, but I think for the entrepreneur community as a whole,
Mhm.
to see the side of moving from that pro to the CEO, and those things that happen that people don't talk about, because we look at, oh, I want to make 7 figures. I want to do all these things business goal wise. But when you attain it, then what? you
Mhm.
know, the
Exactly.
the lies of becoming that 7 figure earner, or that multi-location business owner, or whatever your goals are,
Yes.
even if
Yes.
it's a 6 figure earner, whatever your goals are, the lies of becoming that is that thing is the goal, and it's not. It's
That's good.
actually the journey to
Mhm.
that thing. And
Okay.
the lies of becoming is that no one talks about it, and it
Mm,
needs to be talked about. And that's
okay.
why this book was made and why it's important. And it kind of charts through my journey of that time period for me.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. What is one of the lies that you've had to unlearn that you were telling yourself at the beginning of your career that now by unlearning that it's been able to propel you forward?
Remember when I said that you need to find your purpose in that business or
Mhm.
industry, and
Yeah.
who you to help? Well, there needs to be some clarification with that. And that clarification is that you can't help everybody.
Mm, yeah,
That's first thing.
yeah,
You can't help everybody. And if you do not take the time to develop yourself personally and professionally, then you don't have anything to give or to add value to anyone else. So therefore you end up pouring from an empty cup,
that's
because
good.
you're pouring out everything you have
Mhm.
without getting filled back up. And you're not supposed to pour out. You're supposed to give from the overflow.
Mm, that's good. You better get from the overflow. You better
Because
get.
if it's not from the overflow, baby, I don't have it.
Nah, literally,
Full at all times.
literally.
And if it's nothing else coming out, I ain't got it. I'm
I love
sorry.
that. Tanya, you are truly a gem. Again, your energy is unmatched. I've gotten so much that I want to be able to recap. But before that, if you had 60 seconds to share something with all of the world, like everybody in the world would get this message, somebody that's in that season of the lies as a part of this becoming season, what would you say to that person?
So if you're in that season of becoming that 7 figure earner, that 6 figure earner, becoming the best mom, the best spouse, the best friend, or whatever you're looking to do, I want you to know that this season is temporary.
Mm,
And whether it's good or bad, it's temporary. And I want you to know to keep going no matter what. I want you to not look at any circumstance that's going on in your life, good or bad, but I want you to take it for what it is and keep moving. Always keep moving and keep going.
that's it. That's it. We can't close any better. We can't close any better. Look, I have notes and there's a few things that I want to be able to hit on that Tanya hit on today. Prioritize. Understand what your priorities are and actually do the work in the order that it needs to be prioritized. Number 2 is show up. Just show up. Show up for yourself. Don't get so focused on the result because you're going to learn more through the process than where the result is trying to take you. Number 3 is stay consistent. Stay consistent, because it's not going to be this overnight success. It took her 17 years to become the overnight success that she's been able to build multi 6 and 7-figure organizations to be able to help so many people, not just have part-time jobs, but be able to provide for people's lifestyles. Number 4 is know your purpose in all things that you do, in your marriage, in your business, in your relationships. Know the purpose and then how you can be able to contribute to that space. And then number 6, be intentional. Be intentional on all of the different things that you're doing. And as a part of this becoming this expert, becoming whatever it is that you're trying to become in this season, remove the lies, unlearn them, unfold, unpack your story so that you can be able to empower other people. We're here with Tanya Kelker, the business expert.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys next episode.
Bye.